All right, guys, welcome to the first ever episode of Everyone is a DJ. You got your co-host Manu and myself. We're wrapping up 2025 here at Club Record. Manu, how you feeling, man?
Feeling good, bro. How were the holidays? How was Christmas? New Year tomorrow? How you feeling? How you feeling, man?
I'm honestly tired, man. Like, I feel like I don't even have energy for New Year's Eve. I just want to go to bed.
You
I
already want to
honestly,
jump into 2026, man. I feel you, man. I feel you.
it's long, man. It's long. I've got my family in town as well, so keeping them entertained, lots of food, bit of drinking here and there.
I mean, what
It's
do you guys do all day? I mean, do you just walk around, sightsee, eat? Is it mainly food sightseeing? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is right now, because it's really cold here in Toronto, and my parents are not, used to this kind of weather. Their whole thing is they just kind of want to stay home. So we try to get them out as much as possible, but they don't really want to. So lots of restaurants, couple pubs here and there. It's not a
Yeah.
lot of tourism going on this time of year. So mostly just home vibes,
Hey,
wholesome.
listen, life could be worse, man, than sitting around eating the best food that Toronto has to offer, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly,
Enjoy
man.
it. Enjoy it.
Exactly, man. So welcome to as we said, everyone is a DJ. The point of this podcast is obviously our second one. We had no guest list sometime last year. Shout out to Anthony James. But really, the purpose of this podcast is to dive into a bit more conversation topics in and around our scene. Not make it so interview style, but just talk about what's happening, what's going on. For me, I was having a conversation the other day with somebody, right? And we were comparing why everyone is a DJ in the modern day. It's kind of back in the day, everybody wanted to be a rapper, right? Doing their thing on SoundCloud, rapping over beats, freestyling, rap battles with the homies, those kinds of things. But I think, as a rap as a genre is starting to die down, especially in the last 2 years. Obviously, electronic music is having a big moment, and you're seeing a big shift of a lot of people wanting to be DJs because the software and I guess hardware is way more accessible than it used to be,
For
right?
sure. Also, the rise of electronic music. I think I saw a post last week saying, electronic music is the fastest growing genre in the world at the moment. And, with that comes DJing and the art of DJing. So that's also part of the reason why we wanted to call it Everyone is a DJ. And yeah, the people that we talk about on this podcast are DJs too. So yeah, it's a combination of everything. And yeah, this is episode 1. I think it's not just going to be an Afro House podcast. We're going to try and, every now and then go beyond that sound. But yeah, I think for episode 1, we will look at why we started the podcast, what we're trying to achieve with the podcast, and yeah, do a 2025 wrap up and look into 2026, right?
Exactly. And obviously, I mean, everyone's a DJ is kind of a sub project of our label Club Record. Yeah, we launched Club Record, I think July 2024. It's been about a year and a half. Yeah, man. Walk us through 2025 from your eyes, man. How did you think it went?
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's look at this question from two perspectives. I think for the label, 2025 was a foundation year. 2024 was kind of like the launch and seeing how everything works, right? And just learning as we go. And then yeah, 2025 is like taking those learnings and applying more infrastructure, more systems, and yeah, continuing to build that catalog. And we got lucky, obviously, with a big record and like that allowed us to grow faster. But yeah, I think for the label it was a good year. What score would I give it? I would give it a score of like a B. I would give it a B. B is strong, right? Because again, we had some successes, made some mistakes, but I think overall we weren't afraid to try different things and fail and experiment. So yeah, I actually respect how we were kind of bold and trying things out. So yeah, from a label perspective, quite happy as Manu as an artist. Again, this year I wanted to focus more on club records, and obviously I started releasing music this year for the first time, which I'm happy about. I still wouldn't say I found my sound, so I'm still trying to figure out what my sound is. But yeah, right now I'm trying to like collaborate with a lot of artists, you know, um, improve my music production skills, and I think eventually I will find my sound. But yeah, man, it was a good year, man. How about you? How about you? How was 2025, bro?
You know what? I was, as you're kind of reflecting on the label there, my initial thoughts is always like, as time goes on, I get more and more critical of the project. In the beginning, we had a lot of great wins, kind of right off the bat. Obviously, like that being the most obvious one. I got to sign some of the artists that, if I had a conversation with you 3 years ago, it's like, yeah, you would have signed a Jeff record or an Anne Friends record or a Blanca record. I wouldn't have believed you. And obviously, those were all great records and big wins for me just personally and for the label in general. But as time goes on, you're more critical of the numbers on the page, the performance, making sure that if an artist signed with Club Record, that we're adhering to a certain standard of performance and publicity and stuff. But I think overall, like it's one of those conversations you have with yourself. Is like, if you told yourself 2 years ago this would be where you're at, would you be happy? And the answer is absolutely. But living in the moment, I'm always like, okay, we need to be doing more and more, and we need to get bigger, grow, and so on and so on. So it's just perspective. But overall, I think we've done a phenomenal job, but there's still so much work to do, and it's obviously only the beginning, right? Only a year and a half in. As you said, there were a lot of big lessons learned, which I'm glad we learned early. And then yeah, going forward, it's just building on the momentum that we've had. And you know what? I guess you said your personal side of things. From my side, this was the first year that I've actually ever done a public gig. As
Oh,
like
there you go.
as a DJ. Yeah. So my first one was in
Congrats.
Toronto. It was for a small party at a venue called Kissa, and then obviously playing for Club Record in Lisbon and Amsterdam, and then I just had, I guess, another gig a few weeks back here in Toronto. That was a pretty big deal for me. So I'm super pleased about that. And obviously, my first ever release with Manu and Miko in the club came out
A
about a
few
week
days ago,
ago
right?
now.
Yeah.
Super pleased about that, man. So a lot of wins this year, a lot of lessons, but
Yeah.
2026, we're ready, man.
Yeah, it's one of those like when it comes to goals and achievements, the goalposts always moves. It's like every day it
Yeah.
moves, right? So it's really hard to like be content and say, I've arrived or I've achieved what I wanted to achieve because it always changes. I feel like every day you're thinking about something new, which is one thing as well that we should not do is like comparison because
Yeah.
every day things happen and people achieve stuff and you tend to compare yourself to other people, which is not a great thing to do, but naturally it happens. So there's always new things that we strive for, but yeah, as you said, you know we are living the dream pretty much. I think it's difficult to realize it in the moment, but if you look back 5 years ago, 2 years ago when we first started whatever our pages or making videos, it's like, oh man, imagine you would be a top sex selling Afro House label in your first year. That's mad, right?
No, it's insane. I mean, I remember when I started Afro House Feed. It's been a while now, and people would ask me, "Oh, what's next? What would you like to do?" And everybody said, "Oh, would you ever think about starting a label?" And my answer was, "I know absolutely nothing about starting a record label. What is the infrastructure you need? How do you actually market a record?"
Yeah.
So again, it's all just perspective of how far you and I have come. I think we started our content creation journey more or less at the same time. For those that don't know, Manu and I have actually been connected for about 4 years. And Manu reached out to me on Instagram.
Been a while.
It's been a long time. So we've tried all kinds of things. Podcast one, now on to podcast two. We've got a label. We had
Yeah.
Shaker. Shaker is still a work in progress. It'll
Shaker
make
was
a
cool,
comeback.
man. Yeah, Shaker, I feel like it's still there. Obviously we haven't posted on Shaker in ages, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good platform for sure.
Yeah, Shaker was cool, man. So this is like the fourth iteration of the podcast, being the fourth iteration of Manu and Wes working together on something. So Yeah, man, crazy journey you and I have been on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, when it comes to the label as well, why do you think it's worked for us on the label side? Because, not everyone can start a label.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone can start a label, but to make it successful and make it impactful in 2025, why do you think that has worked so far for us? Obviously, there's more that we can do, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the obvious response is number one, you and I had, two kind of major Afro House platforms that exist online already. So having access to like an audience where, you can talk about your releases, I think gave us the boost we needed right in the beginning, kind of leaning on obviously Manu and Afro House feed.
exposure. Yeah,
Yeah, was a big win. But, I think more important than that is because we've been doing this for so long on the content side, it's the understanding of the sound, where it came from and where it's going, and then obviously the network that we've built over the years just through content and events and those kinds of things. So I think we were set up for success a little bit more than the average person trying to start a label. But that's just my 2 cents. What do you think? Anything to add there?
yeah. I think it comes down to content and relationships. You know, making music isn't difficult, right? You can make a hit, but if you don't know how to push it out, promote it, if you don't have the right channels to funnel it through, it's not going to do much, right? You have to get really lucky for it to do the numbers that you wish. So I think it's pretty much comes down to that, man. It's like, yeah, having a good strategy, um, good networks, and yeah, finding a way to sell it in your own way, like your own spin, right? Obviously we have our pages. I've got my page. You've got your page. The relationships help, but yeah, you gotta make it your own in some ways. I like what Novak is doing with his label Masquer,
Yeah.
Magnifique, of course. Like with Sam and Ajna, kind of pushing those records. Made the girls dance. Like all of these labels have something different that they offer. So it's just that finding that unique offering, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think was like your biggest, I guess, learning or surprise that you didn't really foresee in the beginning?
I think the biggest thing is playlists and the playlist game and how much money people can make on playlists,
Yeah.
right? I think that's probably the biggest thing. It's like you go in thinking you figure it out, every record's gonna hit. But even if you have a great record, right? We have so many records that, they're streaming, but they're not on millions of streams, right? And why is that? Because of playlists. And you need budget, you need a big budget most of the times, and that's not even talking low thousands. You need like
Hmm.
5, 6 figures sometimes to make a record really pop and go. So I think for me was that it's just that playlist market and how much money is in it. And if you are the first in figuring out keywords for playlists, gold mine. You can make a lot of money, and people are making money. So that's probably the biggest thing that I found. What was it for you?
I think from my side is just the unexpectedness of which record is gonna go and which isn't. Right. Obviously, music is so personal, and there's some records I really love and I really believed in, but they just don't perform as well as you wanted them to, and then other ones just catch fire, and
Yeah.
it's impossible to foresee which one is going to go and which one isn't. I mean, obviously, budget does help, as you say, but there's an organic element to activity on the DSPs and the algorithms and the ads to personal playlists beyond just curators and those kinds of things. So that for me, that was the biggest surprise for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we heard this when we started the label. People were telling us, like, trust me, you're not going to know which track is
Yeah.
going to make you money. And we were like, yeah, come on. But obviously, you must have an inkling, you must have a feeling that something's gonna do well, and they're like, probably like, trust me, you're not gonna know which track is gonna go. So yeah, that has been very true. But yeah, I think in 2026, I'm definitely gonna try and get better at that, and figuring out, okay, tracks like Mabola that we released a month ago. That one is still streaming pretty well. I mean, it slowed down a bit, but it's still going. Why is that doing so well? Obviously, like that. But yeah, I think yeah, that's a good one. Actually, that's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, going into 2026 as well, I think you especially as the more of the A&R side of things going on, we've really like turning up the heat for the quality of records that are coming out. So yeah, walk us through a little bit of what we can expect on the label side from the releases that we're able to share.
I mean, 2026 for Club Record, I think we're definitely gonna graduate. I think from being the new kid on the block to, you know, being more established. People now know who we are, how we operate, what to expect, but you still want to keep a sense of surprise, and keep people on the edge, and yeah, don't give them too much and never let them know your next move. Like, you definitely want to keep some of that in how you do things, especially in music, right? Because as soon as you find success, it's so easy to try and copy that, and that's what happens, right? When we put out the Ape Drums remix, we started receiving so many demos that sounded like that, and
Yeah,
people started making that type of sound. So it's you've got to be careful with that.
absolutely.
But I think, yeah, in 2026, it's being more confident. I was saying this to you guys earlier. We were very like quiet and confident in 2025, and that's just how I operate anyway. I'm just like I let the work speak for itself, and obviously we keep doing that. But in 2026, being a bit more loud, posting a bit more, and yeah, and just finding our voice, I think, a bit more. And of course, we have more projects and more things that we're working on that are excited, and we're gonna share soon. But yeah, 2026, it's like stepping it up a level.
I totally agree, man. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys listening at home. The catalog is serious, man.
It's
So
looking crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, even in January, we've got Rooney. People know about Rooney, which is
Rooney,
the track that and me has been playing quite a lot. Shimza has played it. A lot of DJs have been playing this track, Rooney. The producer of Rooney sent me a video. He was, I think, in Mexico last week at a hotel, and his neighbor, person he doesn't even know, was just playing Rooney on a speaker.
no,
He's like,
really.
yeah, yeah, he sent me a video. Maybe it was him, one of his friends, and they were like, "Bro, someone next door is playing your track." Like, that track is everywhere.
That's crazy, man. I
Yeah, it's
wonder
mad.
how
It's
his
mad.
I wonder how his neighbor got it.
It's
That's a bit
crazy.
concerning. But
Yeah, yeah. So imagine you're just like outside in the garden, and someone you don't know is just playing this track that's not even out.
that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
The question:
So
do you go knock on the door? Or you just let it be.
I
I
knock on
don't
the
know.
door, man. I gotta
Yeah,
just, because the thing is, like, a track like Rooney, it's so niche. Like,
yeah,
you have something in common with that person, right? You're gonna connect with that person. Like, yeah.
exactly.
So I will knock on the door and try and figure that out. But yeah, Rooney. We've got more tracks with Chased, Remind. That's another one that we've been posting about a little bit. So yeah, I think first 2 months of 2025 is looking strong. It's looking strong. Yeah, how do you feel about the first releases of sorry, 2026? I said 2025, but yeah, how do you feel about the first releases?
No, like I mean, like I said earlier, it's just I really think we're stepping things up in terms of quality. A lot of these records we've been working on for a long time. It's not just something we signed recently. It's been work in progress with the artists, and making sure it's a right fit for both them and us. So Yeah, really excited about the quality of work that is coming out in kind of Q1 of next year. Yeah, man, I think overall 2025 solid year for us. We're excited for what's coming next, but I think I want to touch a little bit more on kind of 2025 as a whole, sort of in our genre. Um, so I mean, basic questions starting it off. What
Yeah, let's
was
do a recap. Let's do a
yeah,
recap of 2025 Afro House. Let's do
2025
it.
Afro House? So I mean, the basic question, it's all over social media right now. What, from your perspective, what were the best tracks of 2025? Big question.
Best tracks of 2025. I mean, I made a playlist, a top 100 playlist, which I'm gonna share on my YouTube channel. But in my top 10, I had Soft, Ever Seen, Jaquette. I had Shimza, Fire Fire, Kasango, Arco. What else did I have? Obviously, Ape Drums remix of Like That. Sam Body Language. Is that Afro House? Is that not Afro House? I don't know. Um, Damn, what else did I have in there? Listen, Matan Sani, when it first came out, I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah,
But you can't deny what it did.
exactly, man.
So,
Huge.
it's gotta be in there. What did you have, man? What did you have in there?
I think there's some obvious ones as well. Resnick's Cloudy Eyes is obviously a big one. And Friends, what's that song called again? The big one of this year.
Jackie B?
Jackie B. Yeah, Jackie B was a big one.
Jackie B, okay.
Jackie B for me was a big one as well. I think looking back on 2025, the less commercial sounds, not the Hugels and all of that. I definitely had to hand it over to Ape Drums. His 111 with Jamie was also a bit of a moment this year for sure. I gotta give him that.
Yeah.
Different sound, but still
Well,
carrying, man.
that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, let's talk about different sound, right? I think 2024 was the year of the same sound for me.
Yeah.
Everybody made the same sound in 2024. 2025, it changed. We had, I don't want to mention the guys because I want to ask you, but who were the guys that had a different sound in 2025? That came with a different sound and a different, you know, something different that added value.
I mean that's a big question. I think right off the bat I want to say Luch.
Okay.
Luch, I think, phenomenal producer. He does things a little bit differently, just the way that his mind works. Number two, I'd say Lazar as well. I think Lazar had a pretty big year. He brings a bit of a different sound. It's still within the Afro House realm, but kind of blends the corners a bit into something a little bit different. And then I still gotta hand it to the Brazilians, man. Anshdot and Maj, they still got something different, man. I think those are my first ones that come to mind. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Ape Drums. I think Ape Drums, for me, in terms of something unexpected and different,
Yeah,
to me, is at the top. Him and Juno at the top. Like,
Juno. Yeah, that's a huge.
different sounds, you know? I think Everseen, too, from Poland, Everseen,
Mhm.
they provided something different, which I liked. Jaquette, another one that I think had a very good year in 2025. Who else, man? Just provided something different. I'm trying to, yeah. So we said Eight Drums, Juno, Jaquette, Everseen. Yeah, I think let's leave it at that, man.
Though those are definitely some top. Were there any albums this year that you remember being like really impactful?
And ain't nobody doing albums, man.
I know.
No albums. I think, nah, man. No albums. Like, I can't actually.
I think the guys who are doing albums is more of like the OGs. And the Capo dropped an album this year, um, which was good. And I heard obviously the heavyweights Cairo is working on another one for next year,
Yeah.
and so is Enunapa. Enunapa a bit too quiet this year for me, man. I don't know. I mean, he's an OG. He's an OG,
Yeah.
but
I mean, the people that did the best released the most. I mean, Juno had how many releases did he have? All Alone, Heat, Get Him Up, Ride with Me. I feel like he released Kiddo. Was Kiddo this year?
Uh, Not sure. Yeah,
That's
but
four, five.
I think there's a fine line between releasing too much. Obviously, there are some artists we won't mention. I think they're releasing a little too frequently, but I think the sweet spot is once every 1.5 months, personally.
I agree. I agree.
But
I think six a year is good.
yeah,
If you can do 8 to 10, solid. I like it personally because, like, there's always tracks that have been sitting on your hard drive, just gathering dust that are good, but you just don't know what to do. Just put them out, right? Not every track has to get millions of streams or just go mad, but I think as long as you're releasing art and it's contributing to your catalog and your artist profile, I think that's good. Like Luch, what Luch has done this year to me was good. Like FFM, cool track. To me, it wasn't like the best sound, but it's one of those where it's like, all right, this is my sound. This is what you're gonna get from me, right?
it's different, man. FFM was unique. I agree.
FFM, obviously the Future is the one that he pushed the most. You can
Yeah,
tell. Magique, another one, right? Similar to FFM, it's like I'm releasing. I'm versatile. This is what I'm doing. This is the sound that I can make. Yeah, Ape Drums as well with what's that? GQ Tech.
yeah. He. I mean, talk about releasing. Consistently. Ape Drums, I think, dropped about 10 different tracks this year, and a lot of them very different sounds. I know he had one or two
Yeah,
before the Like That remix. And then he dropped a song with Ginton. He had In Love Today, FFM, obviously. Anything Yaya was the one with Ginton, actually. Um, and then GQ Tech being a GOM track. So super versatile producer. And he also released on a wide range of labels as well, which is pretty cool. I think it's been a solid year for him.
yeah,
Absolutely.
man, he did well. He did well. I mean, yeah, we can talk about winners of 2025, but yeah, I think in terms of like different sound for me, Ape, Juno. But for next year, what producers did you see in 2025 that you noticed in 2025 that you think next year are gonna be more visible and apply more pressure?
I think number one for me is Vito Jean, man.
Okay.
Vito Jean, I think he's found this sound over the last few releases that's kind of unique to him, and it's a bit raw, it's a bit more edgy. So I think Vito Jean is really gonna step it up, next year, as a whole. In addition to that, I want to say Adam.
Okay.
Adam's released a few times on our label. He had a solid year.
Shout out to Adam.
Um, yeah, shout out to Adam, not just with us, but other labels too. And I have to give a special mention to Mersey as well. Mersey, yeah. He's released one with us so far. We'll see if there's going to be more, but yeah, I think those are the few at the moment. What do you think? What do you
For
think?
2026.
For 2026, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in terms of different sound, right? I don't think this question is not about who's going to have the biggest year, but different sound and providing something different. I think Ajna is going to go crazy next year.
Yeah, true.
I think Ajna is going to go crazy. I think that keeping it in Belgium, Sentin, obviously we know Sentin well,
Yeah.
released once with us plus a remix. Who else, man? Who else? David McKay is good.
David McKay.
Really like his style. Levy M. He had a decent 2025. Let's see what he does in 2026. But another really talented producer.
Absolutely. I think I have to throw Kays in the conversation as well.
Okay.
A bit biased. He does a little bit of work at the label for those that don't know on the A&R side, but I think K's is gonna have a big next year.
Case. Yeah, listen, I mean, who was quieter than usual? You mentioned, I think those B3B legends
Yeah.
were a bit quiet. Kara released not that much, I don't think.
No, not really. Not this year. His album was last year, 2024. So he's been quiet. Who else has been quiet? I'm just trying to think, man. Who are like the OGs? I
Who's
think
been
it's more a
quiet?
lot of. I think I'll categorize it as a whole. It's not just certain artists, but the
Yeah.
conversation around the origins of Afro House, and we're not gonna dive into that today, but I think a lot of the guys from Southern Africa have been a little quieter this year than usual, and I'm not exactly sure why.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, yeah, we can. That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah,
But
but you say that, but then Shimza had his biggest year yet.
oh, true that. Yeah,
You
Shimza
know,
Shimza had a massive year, man.
Shimza, yeah, he just went into a completely different stratosphere in terms of his DJ status, right?
Yeah.
But I think going back to producers, Mira, we didn't mention Mira,
Oh, Mira. Oh my God.
killer.
Yeah.
She's got that Superman remix coming out. She's an absolute killer. Arodas, another one, had a strong year. Yeah, I mean, listen, you could probably make a list of like 20 plus, 30 plus names that this year did a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like as well. It's like it's all when we started No Guesses back in the day, Afro House was one thing, right? And it was a lot smaller of a world, a lot tighter corners and definitions. But as time has gone on, there's a lot more flexibility in what is and what isn't. And I think everybody, of the names that you mentioned, we all exist in this world, but we're all so different. Like you take a look at Shimza, you look at Arodis with Unreleased, obviously Sam and Ajna, Magnifique, you've got us. And then you still have a lot of, like the Afro tech labels as well, Sundela, Afro Stereo. Night Freak started a label this year too. That was pretty sick.
He had a
So
decent
there's
year as well. Yeah.
yeah, Night Freak. I think Night Freak will continue to push, man. Mo Black's had a big year too, as always. I want to say, but we're all so different, man. But we're all existing under this same umbrella. So I think looking into next year, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of niches are going to survive the longer term over the next year or two, and which maybe might die out a little bit. You know.
Yeah. I think yeah, you gotta experiment. I mean, that's what we do right now. Is just looking at okay, what other sounds can we start to own? Um, because even now, bro, with AI, I don't even know like where do you start? What do you do? What's gonna happen? I feel like every day when I go online, it's like just waiting for a new technology, a new development to pop up that might disrupt everything, right? You just gotta be ready for whatever, because everybody's using Suno now,
Yeah.
right? So I think
Yeah.
2026 is gonna be crazy. We're gonna have a lot of music that sounds good. So yeah, that competition level is just off the charts. I think right now.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, the technology thing is scary, and I think we need to have a whole separate conversation about AI and technology, not just from a production side, but technology on the DJ side. Getting back to why everyone's a DJ as well.
Yeah,
And I think it's just gonna get worse and worse. I got a message the other day from this guy. He was sending me a demo, and he said, "I'm not a He didn't say I'm a producer. He said I'm an AI. I'm a producer that uses AI. I don't know how to produce, but here's my demo." And I was like, "That's crazy, man."
what?
Yeah, yeah. He's like, I'm an AI producer. He's like, I use AI. I don't know how to produce, but here's my demo. Just
I
like
am an
that.
AI producer.
Yeah, but I think as well, a lot of people are not gonna publicly say that. I kind of respect it for him that he was like, yeah, you know, this is me. But I think there's a lot that's happening, you know, that we don't know about. That's all technology based.
Well, yeah, I think you know, if there's any type of AI music conventions, conferences, big meetings happening, we need to be involved. Like we need to just get involved and be in those conversations, because I think in the next 3 months there's going to be big news. There's going to be like big developments across the whole ecosystem.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean
I will
that's
see.
the topic of 2026. Obviously, we've recapped the artists and labels that we think, you know, are gonna shine, you know, going forward into the next year. AI is gonna be a big conversation for 2026. Any other notable things you want to mention about 2026?
2026. Yeah, listen, I think 2025, as I said earlier, for me was the year of people experimenting more and finding their own identity
Yeah,
and applying that into their productions. But you know, it looks like 2026, we just touched on this, is the year of probably a lot more AI music. I think it's just figuring out what's going to happen. That might cause people to release less or just go crazy. I think it's one of those going to happen.
yeah.
But what do you think, man? What do you think could be a big event for 2026?
Oh, it's a good question. I think um, besides obviously AI, I think you nailed it, man. I think we've got AI and you know how
Yeah,
that's gonna play into our scene. We should talk about that a lot more. Obviously in
another
episodes coming
podcast.
forward. But I think we got it, man. I think we know what's coming up for next year, and we had what happened in 2025. Viewers at home, if there's anything we missed that you're thinking about, let us know in the comments below. And also let us know what else you want to hear on the podcast. What should we talk about? Who should we have on? Always good to hear from you guys. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. That was episode 1 of Everyone's a DJ, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.